Happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome back to another round of Chitter Chatter. As you all know, we've had 3 chit chats consecutively, and today our chit chat is with the author of Imagination's Wild, Parinita Ahuja. Well, she's a girl who lives in New York and for the last 5 years has been studying there. Hey, Soul Mocha, I hope you enjoyed your chit chat yesterday. Hey, Nitin Mirani, hi, and Parinita Ahuja is here. So let me introduce y'all to her and her book. Well, this is her first book, and I must tell y'all, it's a very nice, quick read, and you will only have smiles when you're reading this book. This book is about a girl. Hey, Dr. Neelam. This book is about a girl who writes and has very unexpected journey throughout. Oh my god, I don't know what to say and what not to say because I don't want to give any spoilers. So, hello Prablina Ahuja. I'm sure you're here to support Pariniti Ahuja. And anything that will be a spoiler. I really enjoyed this book and it was such a quick read.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Welcome to our Chitter Chatter. And today's chit chat is all about you and your book Imagination Wild.
Thank you, thank you. How did you like it?
Oh, I loved it. And it was such a nice, quick read. It actually took me back to my college days. I was having cups and cups of coffee and just enjoying it. And I really had a good time reading it.
Thank you.
So tell me, how did you decide to write this book? Because you were actually studying something else. And then, you decided to write this book. You were 21, right? When you did your first draft?
Yeah, 21. Yep.
Tell us all about it.
I think it was just a random thought. I've been writing all my life. And this was just like, okay, I have some time over summer break while I was working. And I was like, you know what, let's do something because I was very stressed about not deciding not to go to medical school anymore. And I was like, you know what, I need a break from overthinking all of this and I need to do something else. And I think when I started writing it, it was just for me. And then somehow it became a story and someone liked it. So here I am.
Well, I'm glad that you put your story out there and people are liking it. So, all viewers, if you've not ordered your copy, go online, order your copy, and DM her how you like the book.
Yes, please DM me. Tell me what you like about it. I would love to um, understand what the readers like so that I can maybe if I write another one, it could be based on that.
So here there is Mahesh Kritika saying, congrats beta, this is Ratan Mahesh Trika. You done proud to your parents, us, and we are proud of you. Ravi.sp38 says, all the best. Peter Moon says, hey Parinita, daughter of my friend Harinder. Prablin Ahuja is sending hearts. DS Ahuja, congratulations Inayat. There are many more people out there to support you and I'm sure they all are.
Oh, thank you. I love that.
Like you said, you had dropped out of middle and then you decided let me write and all of that. Book is also where the protagonist keeps writing in her Mr. Journal. And so how similar are you to the character of your book?
I would say so similar sometimes and not so similar a lot. I think a lot of my friends, when they read the book, like I just got a text message today from one of my friends and was like, every time I read it, I'm narrating it in your voice. So I feel like a lot of times you'd be like, okay, this is totally Parinita. And then other times you're like, this is not her at all. So I think a lot of it initially was based off of, just me writing about myself or maybe like seeing myself in it. And then it became more character driven and it started being more of a whole person in itself and not just about me.
So in your real life too, do you maintain a Mr. Journal?
I do have a diary. I do write. Am I constant in writing? No, but I try writing every day. But like before I go to bed, or like I feel like when I'm feeling a lot of things, I tend to write more than just a regular day. So I think I'm less regular in writing, but I do try to maintain a journal.
Before I go on my next question, I have to tell you, Harinder, deep to a heart, and Peter Moon is good job. Congratulations, Parinita. Manju saying all the best.
Thank you.
Neeta, congrats, Parinita, ma'am. And there is a lot of congratulations coming your way, and keep reading them to motivate you to write the next one.
Yeah.
I'm sure
You.
out there are already waiting to know what happened with further.
Sorry?
I said a lot of people out there are wanting to know what happened with her further. Like, what is her like now?
To be really honest, there is so much going on in my mind. Every time I sit down to go through my book, I'm like, oh my god, she could be this. Oh my god, she could do this. Or, there's so many stories that could really be Anam. And I think that was the purpose of writing it. And I've said it so many times. I think her character was more of a sort of hope for me that I'll be fine, and that I can do a lot of other things in life, and it doesn't have to be medical school. And I think that can be related to so many levels for other people. Like, you don't have to decide right now in the moment. Life just happens. And I think when I write another one, it will just happen.
So I hope it just happens and it happens soon. And we check on that one too.
Yeah.
So, like your book, like we just said, and the book also says that there are a lot of unexpected turns and all that. And they're always for the good. And they come as surprise packages. And I better be careful because I don't want to give any spoilers. I was reading a book, I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't anything part of the book. And that's my problem always. So much, but I'm going to keep it till I review the book, and
Yeah.
I don't want to give any spoilers right now or then.
Yeah.
But in your real life, how often does you play a role and unexpected things happen to fulfill your dreams?
Oh my god, every day, every single day. Like, I mean, who would have thought, to be really honest, who would have thought that I would be the person I was when I went to college? I feel like everybody changes so much. And especially like coming from India all the way to here, I think it was just like my parents weren't there all the time. It was more like not even finding, I think making a person out of myself. It was like I knew these things about me, but how do they play a role in my life? So I think every day it's like new things happen all the time. Like the other day, I was like reaching out to someone to volunteer or something. And most of these people don't reply back. And suddenly I was on a Zoom call and I was talking to these people and I was like, wow, this happened. So I think these are like, and of course, bad things happen too, right? I feel like even in the book, even though it seems like everything is good, internally Anam is struggling. And I think that is to say that you can, to the world, it can look all perfect, but it isn't for everybody. And I think that is a whole another thing you can relate to as well.
So, like when you lost Mr. Journal, a lot of things happen. Good, bad, a lot of that. In your real life, this book happened. How is it working with book makers and Arthur as a literary agent who has got your book till
I am so thankful. I think like, of course, the first person who recognized my talent was my dad, and my mom and my family. They were like, you know what, this has to be pitched. And my dad was like, you know what, I'm going to send it to some people. But the fact that Mr. Mathur actually saw potential in that book, I was shocked. That was not something I saw coming. Even to this day, I'm like, did this really happen? Like, am I really writing? Like, are people really reading my writing? So I think there's so much to be thankful for, both to Suhail Mathur, Sumheda, book bakers, and the publishing company like Perils. The fact that I got to them, the fact that they were able to recognize it, I'm so thankful.
my next question is, anyways, are your parents still in the book? The protagonist thanking her parents, and they are the driving force. And even in your life, like you said, your dad was the first one, mom and dad supported you. How does it feel like to have your parents who support you and show you that you're studying something, have another dream, and you can get both of them at the same time?
I think I think that also stems from being my parents' daughter. I think there's always so many things they've always wanted to do them and they've done in their entire life. And I think it was never a question, even when I tried to switch my career route or the fact that I wanted to get this published or whatever. I think it was more of them saying, you figure it out. We'll be there to support you. We'll be like, we'll sit down with you and figure out what do you want to do, but we will never be like, you have to do this. I think that was, and I'm blessed for that. I know so many people struggle with that every day. And I'm very blessed to be like, I want to change my career path third year into my college degree. And I feel like everybody has a different journey. I'm thankful for my parents who supported me through it, definitely. And I think a lot of it shows in my book. I don't think the parents' character would have been the way it was if I hadn't had that kind of an experience.
I am very sure of that because even in your book, like it continuously has her parents around, supporting her, doing whatever she's doing. And yeah, like you said, that reflects a lot in your book. Also, my next question was you wrote your first draft when you were 21. And I'm sure you had a lot of fears. You didn't know whether you were out there, whether. But when you started, you took your first pen paper and started noting down, okay, I want to write a novel. Open your laptop and you said, okay, come on, let's get started writing. What was the fears that came to you when you started writing?
What was the last thing you said?
What were the fears that came to you when you started writing your first draft?
I think at that time, since I was writing for myself more than anybody else, it was more of just like there wasn't much fear. I think there was fear of like in the end when it came closer to getting published, or when Mr. Mathur actually reached out to me and was like, your dad reached out and this is something I think that's when I became a little panicky and I was like, do I want people to know what I'm writing about? Do I think this is, because there's so many amazing writers out there. I still feel like sometimes it's like, wow, I could have done a little better, or this could have been different. And I feel like that's just a little bit of, everybody feels that, it's not just me. But the more fears came in towards the end, and I started becoming a little panicky, and I was like, oh my God, the world is going to read this. And like, what are they going to think of me? What are they going to think of the character? And surprising part, I'd never written the ending actually. Even when the story was pitched to Mr. Mathur or the publisher, the ending wasn't written yet. It was after a couple of months. It's like I didn't know how to end it. I had no clue because it was something I wrote for myself. So I was like, do I really need to give it an ending? And then when like it got to them, I was like, okay, maybe I need to give this book an ending. And somehow, I think it was like I woke up in the morning and I was just like, this is how I want to end it. And I like wrote it and sent it to my dad, and my dad was like, I don't know. So I think I think it was a great ending to a great story that I wrote.
Like you said, the fear started to end because that's when you realize it's going to go out to the world out there, and what will they say, what will they judge, what could happen, what could not happen. What were the emotions when you held your first copy in your hand?
Oh boy, to be really honest, so I actually got my first copy like my supervisor. I used to work for her, and she got it. It was like even way before I'd gotten my own copy, and I held it, and I was like, "This is so weird." These are my words to her. I was like, "This is so weird." I still don't believe it. I'm honestly like, I'm sitting here and I still don't believe that this is happening, or I'm chatting. I'm so thankful that I'm chatting with you, but like I still don't believe it. To this day, when my friend like reads it or like people text me, I'm like people have opinions, people like it. This is, so I feel like it's amazing, but at the same time I feel like I'm overwhelmed because everybody writes to me and they're like, where's our another sequel? Like, I need a good story, this, I need more about Anam and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, heard that.
I must say, though I'm chatting with you for the first time, but since I've read your book, what your friends are saying and what your family is saying is quite true. You reflect a lot of character. And now I have this same thing that it's you who was exactly same emotions kept happening with you in the book. So I resonate with them completely.
I'm glad, but I do feel like I want the readers to somehow find themselves in Anam or like any character they find themselves in. Because at the end of the day, I think Anam is more like hope to, like, you can do whatever you put your mind to, or like even if you don't have something you put your mind to, you will find it. And I think everybody needs to be able to relate to that and have faith in themselves. And I think that's what the character is about. And I hope people, without knowing me, people can be like, I relate to this, like this can be me, or there's a part of me that's in this, something like that.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll get back to you also on.
Yeah.
Please go ahead and order Imagination while online right now. While we're talking about characters, there is somebody asking here that how did you develop your character sketch for this book?
Actually, again, a lot of my friends are like, we try to find ourselves in this book, like somehow in your friends, like, are we there? I think definitely the basis was in a lot of friendships that I've had, which I'm very thankful for. Shout out to all my friends. There's like so many of them and so many features of them in that book. But I do feel like at the end of the day, it was more character driven. It was more focused around Anam and what she needed, because her character, her struggle with herself and being adopted and being, brown skin in a white family, I think that required her emotional support in college, and I think it was more catered towards her. But since I've had a lot of friends who've helped me adjust in this world, in this like new world that I came in, I think a lot of it stems from there.
So here we have a lot of congratulations coming your way. Ella Jabian is saying congratulations. Taka Kushar is saying congratulations. Shailesh 13 Feb is saying congratulations. And Jayavant is saying congratulations. Pari
Thanks.
HRM is saying this is incredible. And a lot of questions and congratulations and love is coming your way. Also, Story of Soul says how beautiful this is. And a lot of hugs and hearts are coming your way. And may they keep going for your book, for you, and bakers, for everyone out there who was a part of the book. When you had to decide the cover page, what made you choose this illustration?
I honestly have to say, thank you for the patience that Mr. Mathur showed, and Harpreet Makkar showed for the petals. This book cover took so long. I had this vision, and I feel like, again, that perfectionist aspect comes to it, and I was like, I see this way and I want it to be this way. I feel like, and it was also like, I feel like my vision was more like, it has to be, don't judge a book by its cover, it said, but I feel like half of us judge the book by its cover. And I was like, if you're not motivated to pick that book off a shelf, or like put it into your cart, despite reading the story, and like the book cover doesn't, grip you into that, I don't think it's worth it then. So I think for me it was more like, I need to show that depth of that character. And it's hard because it's like, how do you show a depth of a character in just a cover? But I think they did such a good job in bringing my vision into, like, I feel like everybody loved it. There were so many people who were like, it's the eyes. And I think the eyes, for me, it's like, when I look at someone, it's the eyes for me. It's like, their eyes speak so much. And so is for the characters in the book. And I think in general in our life. And I think it's the eyes. Everybody loved it. Every stranger that I've ever, I think, gotten to know over this process were like, the book cover was amazing. I think that's what I wasn't looking for, people to tell me it was amazing, but I think I was looking for people to tell me that they relate, they understand, they want, it pushes them to take it off that shelf and buy it. And I think that's important.
According to you, was asking, do dark theme attract audience too much when it comes to reading?
Well, the book that I've written, I do have to say that that's not the genre I read. I have mostly, in the last 5 to 7 years, I've read more like thrillers, and they do have more dark themed, book covers, and that's the attraction. That's what makes you want to buy it. I think my book was it a thriller? Maybe a little bit. Just kidding. But you have to find out when you buy that book. But I feel like the book is so, I think it's meant for people to make them happy. and I think light colors and bright colors make me happy. And I think that was my theme of going into, like, keep it simple. I think simplicity also sometimes makes you want to, read that book, because it's so simple. There could be so much to say, so much to interpret. I think for me, light colors are more towards, like, oh, there's more happiness or there's more liveliness in that book. And I think my book is more that than the dark wouldn't have suited it. I think so.
So Arusha Tyagi says lots of congratulations to you. Love Renu. Jani Chopra says love the book. Rushad, hi, finally your comment has got posted. And now, since we spoken, and okay, there is Jaimin Sharadi saying the book is very superb.
Thank you.
And flowing your way. Now we're gonna have a little round of fun before we end our chitter chatter. So tell me, what's your favorite series of books?
Oh, series. Okay. I am a huge Harry Potter fan. Like, I have reread that like so many times. But currently, my favorite thriller it is called Sharp Objects. And I absolutely love. Like, I think it is a thriller. So it isn't something like my book, and I actually read a very recent book called Untamed, and it is non-fiction. It's not fiction, and it is based off of the author's life by Glennon Doyle, and I just love that book. I am so young to still relate to that book, but that book is so real and so realistic in life. I think I absolutely loved it. Untamed and Sharp Objects are my current favorite right now.
And since you spoke about Harry Potter, which is your favorite character in Harry Potter?
Oh, that's hard to choose. That's okay. I think I love Ginny Weasley. I think that is, I would say, like, from the book aspect, I absolutely love Ginny Weasley, but I think I'm more like Hermione Granger. Like, I feel like everybody tells me that all the time, but I do love Ginny Weasley the most.
Okay, Gustak Musafir says enthusiasm is the engine of success. So congratulations, kiddo.
Yeah.
Mr. Karthik _ Kandit _ official says my best wishes for your success.
Yeah.
Umang 27 says congratulations, proud of you. And somebody's asking, what was your inspiring moment to write?
What was my inspirational moment to write?
Yes.
Oh, I have to say this. I feel like there wasn't one moment ever that was like, you know what, this makes me feel like I want to write. I just have grown up with a father who was a journalist when he was young. He wrote books, he wrote all the time. And I think I've just been surrounded by that thought process so often. And it was just secondhand, where it was like, when I think more so when I became a person of my own is when I started writing more than when I was back home. So it just came to be. I think I'm my father's daughter. I think I would say that then more of an inspirational moment. But I do want to say, like, one book that I absolutely felt like this thought process made me write was Animal Farm. It was something I read in 9th grade. It's very, like, it's a small book just like mine, quick read. But I read that book and I was like, you know what, I want to read more. And that put me up to reading more. So definitely a book inspired me more than just a moment.
Well, Mahesh Pradika says wonderful interaction about the journey thus far. Cheers, stay safe, stay blessed. And okay, our next question. So, what's your favorite book besides the one that you just mentioned?
What did you say? What is my favorite?
Of all time.
All time. Well, there's so many. I just finished reading another book. It was called And Then There Were None. And it's by Agatha Christie. I know Agatha Christie, such, like, people read them when they're in high school, but I never got to it. And then I read this book. I think Agatha Christie series are really good. I do feel like I know it's like she's an amazing author. I can't even ever compare myself to her, but like her books are absolute. I think the writing style, I think it's more I relate to it's so simple, and yet there's so much to say in every sentence. I think that is something I relate to more than There's another book I'm reading by Charles Dickens, and his writing style is so complicated. So I think I relate to books that are more simply crafted than that are complicated. So I think I would say Agatha Christie is currently I'm trying to read more and more of her now.
So, do you read two books at a time, or it's like, no, I need to complete one and then I'll go to the next one?
Sometimes I feel like most of the times, I'm gonna not lie, and most times I will read like multiple books at the same time, because I feel like I tend to like overdo it. Sometimes I'll just be like reading that entire day if I love that book so much, and I feel like I need to pace, and I want to understand every character. Now that I've written my own, I feel like I've been pushed to read it, understand the character, understand the friends, understand the family, understand where the writer was coming from, where do you come from. And I think I've started taking it slower than I used to. Harry Potter, oh my god, I read those in like seconds. It was more like I just finished them and I like ravaged them so easily. So it's easier to read it when it's like you're so invested, than it's more like you're analyzing everything, which I've started doing a lot more.
Now that you turned a writer, I'm sure that automatically comes in, where you're like, the back, where did that come? And all that just naturally starts flowing in now when you're reading.
Exactly. It's like so normal to me. It's like, oh, think about what the author was thinking. Now think about why the reader is thinking that way. It's so cool.
Your favorite authors?
Ooh. Oh, that's difficult. I can't choose. I think every author has their own style. Like, I feel like also I don't think I've gotten to read. I've read a lot of books, yes, but I don't think I've ever felt like, oh my god, this is my favorite author of all time. I feel like every author has their own nuance. I would be like, if I can't choose. That is so hard to choose. I can't choose it.
Okay, we shall let you be on that all authors have a style. Like all of them read their books and all of it. Favorite movie adaptation from a book?
Handmaid's Tale. It's not a movie, it's a series. I read that book. I absolutely love that book. That is the book that I could have read in like 2 days. And I wouldn't have felt anything. But I think because the author herself is involved in the series adaptation currently, and she came out with another book series based off of that series, I think it's so perfect. They're so aligned together, and I see the character being the same character in the book. Initially, I didn't, but then eventually, when I got to, and I recommend that watching that series and reading that book. It's a little dark. It's very dark, I have to say, but I feel like if you are into that kind of book, you're gonna absolutely love the series.
If your book had to be adapted, who would you consider besides yourself as the character?
Oh. I think, I don't know. I haven't found someone yet. I haven't. I do feel like, and that goes back to saying, everybody has an Anam in them. So it's more about when you do find someone, it's about more like you have to tell them to like go find that hope in yourself when you were trying to be an actor, or when you were trying to do something big in life. And I think everybody has that. So I feel like for me, I don't think I'm in a position to ever say who's gonna play that role. I see myself playing that role someday. Maybe not. I feel like I'm a little similar to Anam, but not all the time. So maybe, but I do feel like there's so many amazing people who can play that role. Again, I don't think I'm in the position to say who can. There's so many talented people out there.
And now our last question: what was your
What was my
last read?
most recent read? Was actually that it was the book I was talking about, and then there were none. It is the most recent book I've read by Agatha Christie. I'm currently reading a book by Charles Dickens. Of course, I forget the title. It was I can't remember. Never mind. It's been 2 days. I haven't read it, so it's a long title. But it's by Charles Dickens. I'm trying to. I don't know why. One of my professors actually did a PhD in Dickensian era, and she used to love it. So I think that motivated me to go buy that book and read it.
If you could ask one successful author any question, what would that be?
Ooh, interesting. I think more than an author, I read the book Becoming by Michelle Obama. And I think if I were to ask her one question, I'd be like, um, what made you want to write the book? I think because it's not fiction. It's like, it's about her life. So how did she feel? When did she feel ready to write something about her life? Like, I think any nonfiction based author, I definitely want to know and ask them, like, autobiographies or something they like write of their life. It's like, what makes you, when do you feel that you're ready to write about your life, and like people are ready to know about you now completely? I think that's a big question, because I don't know, like, if I will ever feel completely ready for people to know about my entire life. So when do you really feel that ready?
Well, there's another huge compliment by Om Prakash Narang.509. The plot chosen by you is really a message to the society.
Thank you.
And now the last question, which is your to read?
Sorry?
Which is your to read book?
To read.
Like, which book you thought is going to be in my.
I would say Untamed by Glennon Doyle. That is something I would go back. I think I would want to be like, when I'm 40, again, like when I turn 40, I would want to go back and read that book. And I think I will have a whole new perspective on that book at different stages of my life. So I think I would want to read that again.
Well, Big B PR is asking, any plan for children book like Harry Potter?
Oh my god, there is no comparison to Harry Potter ever. I will never be able to match anything like that. But who knows? Maybe. I don't know what the future. I didn't even know this was gonna get published. So who knows? Maybe. Keep that in mind. Go buy this book, and then maybe I'll do something like children's book one day.
Thank you, Parinita, for your lovely chitter chatter. We're looking forward for many more books from you, and really well put in a review of the book really soon. Have a happy Sunday and happy writing, and
thank you so much for talking to me. I love this chat. Thank you. Have a good one. Thank you, guys. Bye.